Sports games are a dime a dozen, whether it's NFL, soccer, or my country's own Australian rules football. AFL has a decent amount of video games, but one in particular sticks out like a sore thumb. AFL Mascot Manor was released as a part of an ongoing ad campaign at the time called Mascot Manor, which was created to appeal to Auskick players, which is like the Little League of AFL. They thought it would be great to make a game for the widely popular Nintendo DS, but instead of making a normal sports game, they chose to make a 3D platformer. You know, on the DS. I can't think of many other 3D platformers on the DS that isn't like Mario 64 DS or Rayman 2, but they put that shit on everything at the time. Let me tell you a bit about my history of AFL. I have none. I mean, my brother owned this game, and it ended up with me, and that's like pretty much it. At one point I went for the Tigers since some of my family did. So when the game asked me to pick the mascot, I just went with the one I thought looked the funniest. So Port Adelaide it is. The game then introduces us to Toby Torpedo Coleman, a boy from the Northern Territory who dreams of being a football player. Considering all the time it's been since this game, I think Toby's more of an accountant these days. Toby was a character who was all over everything Mascot Manor related. He's meant to be like a vessel for the young Australians to see themselves in. He's just like me for real. I'm told a bit about my character, Tommy Fonda Power. Apparently he's from a world called the Outer Worlds. So if you see this thing on the AFL field, just know he's from a different dimension. You know, I was under the impression that the mascots lived in Mascot Manor. That's what the wiki said. Is Mascot Manor in the Outer Worlds? There are 12 different worlds, one for each AFL team at the time. Richmond has a jungle because they're the Tigers.
Eagles.
Sky because
Eagle.
a bird. And St. Kilda gets heaven. Like, they're not even trying to hide it. The last stage is called the Pearly Gates. Every world is split up into 3 levels, 2 normal levels and 1 boss level. Most of the levels in this game are painfully short. Like, that's how long this level was. Jesus. A lot of the enemies are designed really similarly. Like, each world has an appropriate bowl enemy, whether it's a beach bowl or whatever the hell this is. The game controls using tank controls, like Croc. There is some form of a targeting system. The combat in this game is really simple. You spam the A button. I mean, you do have abilities you unlock after defeating bosses. This is my favorite Mega Man game. Every ability does things, but the only ones you really need when you're just playing the game is the run speed, and that's about it. Because you never need to fight enemies outside of a boss, so you can just sprint to the goal. If you ever do fight enemies and are running low on health, there are plenty of health items like this apple, or this can of cola that hurt me. There are fake items in this game that hurt you. I mean, sure, your game's gotta set a good example for the young Australians playing this game. So the apple heals you, the cola hurts you. But like, why? You're trying to tell me that Tommy Thunder will be on the brink of death after 1 cola can. Honestly, I'm just disappointed they didn't have the balls to make it outright kill you. If I drink cola, I should immediately have a heart attack and fucking die. I do love that the best food item in this game is a pie. Man, I love this country. Each level has collectible cards hidden around. And honestly, I think that this is a very good way of mixing the sports origin of this game with the 3D platforming collectathon kind of thing. I mean, sports cards are pretty much like the green stars of this game. Well, unlike green stars, you don't actually need them to progress at all. God, I wish Anthony Cooperfield was
you'll have
in
to
this
impress
game.
me, monkey.
Man, I love Sewer Lucky. After beating the first 2 levels, you unlock a boss level. The reason the mascots are fighting each other in this game is to win the favour of the Australian children. At first, the bosses will only be one phase. After you beat a few, they pull out the second phase, which shocked me. I mean, AFL MASCOT MANOR is getting serious. And then you beat some more. And there was a third phase. And then a fourth. And a fifth. When is this going to end? I'm pretty sure the final boss had like 8 phases, but I stopped counting. I could not be bothered. The bosses, you pretty much punch them and then use your abilities sometimes. The bosses will use their respective ability, which most of the time is like, whoa, that did nothing. But if any of the bosses have Sparkling Shield, it sucks. Sparkling Shield is an ability that makes a boss immune for a certain amount of time. So you just can't do anything for a few seconds. Good thing you can just leave a fight and they can't do anything about it. You see, every boss in this game has an arena. Once you leave that arena, they stop attacking you. So you can just go and do anything else you'd normally do in the other stages. There are enemies around, items for you to heal, and cards to collect. You can just take a break at any time. I mean, this is pretty much the only way to beat the bosses with a Sparkling Shield. Just take a bit until they stop and then beat the shit out of them. After beating all of the mascots, you have to fight former AFL CEO Andrew Dimitri. Nah, the game just tells you that you've won Toby's Team Spirit. You know, this game isn't the only one like it. The developers Wicked Witch made an identical game for the NRL called NRL Mascot Mania. It's got some new themes, like a temple for the
Titans.
But like, the West Tigers is just a jungle again. Oh, and the quick play mode is rugby. Oh yeah, the quick play mode. It's not good. It's probably the worst AFL mode in an AFL game ever. Then again, I've seen like none of them. And there's mini games, which is stuff like this water slide and a boss rush that I'd rather kill myself than do again. You know what? This game's actually pretty cool. Good? No. Cool. Yes. It's such an anomaly. A 3D platform based around the mascots from a sport? That's so unique. And the fact that they did it twice is so funny to me. I honestly do not want this game to be forgotten. It feels like people actually had fun making this. Honestly, I love the idea of taking something that has an obvious genre that it would fit into and trying to fit it into something else. Anyway, that's it for this video. Make sure to subscribe.
Whoa, shout outs to Maitri dudes. Radical.